Hey, how's it going, everybody? We're back. We're here. We did it.
Hey, buddy.
We made it. How's it going, Matt?
All the cats in the house.
Oh yeah,
Say yeah.
I got eight. I got eight in the house right now.
So what's it like when you have a whole house full of cats?
Well, you get some family who's interested in taking one for free, and then you try to sell the rest on Kijiji.
Oh, you're on Kijiji 24/7 now?
A little bit of marketplace, a little bit Kijiji, a little bit in contact with the humane societies, the SPCAs,
Oh, nice.
just in case. Yeah, you can't keep all of them, you just can't.
You're the top cat right now.
I'm the
Would
top
you say?
cat.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right on, man. Well, I'm not working today, so I'm over here trying to exercise, and I'm doing slow motion burpees and just trying to keep it all together.
Slow motion.
If there was a slow motion CrossFit, I would be the top cat of that for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we're all shined up here. I got my Vikes jersey on. I'm ready for this edition of In the Corners. We're at 27 already.
And this one is going to be more of a Vikes focused episode. We've made since the last couple episodes have been, a lot of focus on the other teams in the BCIHL. We're going to go for the home team on this one. We're going to talk a lot of new stuff regarding Vikes hockey. So me and Matt are excited for this one. This is actually going to be our last episode for the August break. We're going to take a hiatus. During that time, you're going to see some shorts come out on this channel. You're going to see, if you're following on our Instagram, you're going to see some updates, players who are committing, staff changes, whatever. There's going to be changes. There's still lots to be done until the BCIHL season starts. So, man, let's get into it. What do we got right off the bat, Matt? What are we going to talk about? What do these people need to know?
Before we go big on the Vikes, we're going to go through the depth chart. I want to say a couple things. Will Bryant from the interview last week.
Yep.
I had the more I thought about it this week, he had some really good points about the VIJHL going to Junior A. I was a bit off my rocker with some of my takes there.
Off my rocker.
Yeah, but if you want to hear Will Bryant's idea about that, go back and listen to that. He talked more about a province-wide kind of, he had a theory about Junior A hockey. So go back and check that out.
Check that out.
The second thing is Okanagan Lakers. Now, these are the orange guys, right? We got a soft spot for these guys. They were fourth last year, and they're kind of hanging around in the weeds, right?
Right there. They're right there.
Yeah, they got I want to say, before we go to Vikes Town, Carter Benson from the Revelstoke Grizzlies and Connor Lemieux, the goaltender from Thunder Bay North Stars. Two new players going to the Lakers. Hopefully we can do a nice season preview on the Lakers, because we want to learn about them, see how hot they are to climb the standings.
Oh, yeah. More on that later, by the way, about season previews. But yeah, no, these Lakers they've made some commits, right? They've got a couple new guys, and just like every team in the BCIHL, they're going to want to make some improvements to catch up with who else but SFU and obviously the Mariners, because it looks like the Mariners, as we talked about last week, Mariners are stacking up. They're stacking up fast. So it's something to keep an eye out for all teams in the BCIHL. But yeah, so right off the bat, for a little intro here, let's go through, let's give people a little bit of a reminder about the depth chart right now with the Vikes. How's that sound?
Sounds good.
Yeah, so... we'll start with the centers. You have the centers right in front of you, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah. I'll go through the players at the position, and you give me a couple thoughts on them.
Let's do it.
So there's two new centermen, and of course, some of these forward positions they can change around. Someone might be a winger, but they might be a center. We don't really know for sure because we don't know half of these dudes, right?
Yeah.
But the graduating player is Matthew Hermary. So that's one player leaving, two players coming in. So. At center for the Vikes, Logan Spears last year with 29 points. Ryan Strange, 13 points. Jackson Egan kind of emerged in the second half. Couple goals against SFU and that big performance there. Tom Sweeney. Also new to the team at center, Sam Schofield, Melville Millionaires, coming from that program, and Jovan Malay. Now, the Rockland Nationals, that's over in Ontario, CCHL. That's a rural Ontario, some kind of league over there. So those are the two centers coming in. Reese, what are a couple centermen that stand out to you? You want to chat about here?
Well, right off the bat, you got to obviously go over Logan Spears. He was a guy that I think I've said his name on this show about 300 times just throughout the year. He's a great player, and he obviously had that unbelievable chemistry with that Braun, who unfortunately is moving on to greener pastures. He's moving on to somewhere else in his hockey career, which we hope the best for him because he tore it up. But luckily, we get to keep Spears. We get him. He honestly seems like a perfect candidate for a 1 or 2. I'd obviously give him a little bit of the edge on the 1, depending on how the team's going to get built. But he's a great center. He can play both sides of the puck for sure, and he's offensively creative too, for sure. Watch the season, look at his stats, and check some highlights. He's been that guy. So no, he's a guy that obviously stands out. Another guy that I'm going to point out is Tom Sweeney. He's was he a senior? This guy's been a part of the team for the last 3. I've actually never seen Vikes without Sweeney. So it'll be interesting to see what role he plays. Maybe they put him far up the lineup so they can have that veteran energy coming right off the bench on the first in that top 6 position, or maybe they want to throw him in the bottom 6 somewhere, solidify some of those younger players around him, provide a toughness. We'll see, man. It'll be expensive. It'll be very exciting to see
right on
where they go.
Yeah, Tom Sweeney last year missed half the season with a broken wrist, something like that. We don't actually know who is coming back. We're assuming that Logan Spears will be back, Ryan Strange, but we don't. I guess we have no way of guaranteeing that. Although we got a feeling these guys are coming back for more. Oh yeah. So that about wraps up the middle of the ice. Sam Schofield, kind of looking at more a skilled player. Maybe a bit of flash. Yep. And then Jovan Malay, we hear, is like a fast type of speedster kind of player. So a speedy player. So that's just the judgments we have so far. Are you ready to go on to the wing?
Oh, let's go. Break it down. I'm excited. You know what? It's kind of building some anticipation more and more as we go through this lineup. Now we're moving on to wingers. Let's see what we got here, because the Vikes had good wingers last season. So Definitely. Let's see how they fare now.
2 right wingers going out the door is Riley Braun and Brandon Voss. 2 very impactful players on the lineup. Here we go. Right wing, Noah Kelly, 17 points in 19 games. Blake Bentham also played a bit at center, 6 points, 14 games. Lucas Thompson, Brian Magic, also on right wing. The 2 players coming in, Garrett Horechka from the Dauphin Kings and Dryden Ice Dogs, championship player with the Dauphin Kings, and Ethan Anstey. That's one other player born in Yellowknife, which is a cool thing too. Schofield and Anstey are Yellowknifers. Anstey's coming from the Melville Millionaires of the SGHL and the Flin Flon Bombers. Every episode we got to mention
Flon.
We got to mention
Shout
them.
Out to Flin Flon, man.
So there we go. Braun and Voss going out. Anstey and Horechka coming in. Reese, what do you make of this right wing crew?
I'm excited for Horechka for sure. I think he's going to come in and provide a little bit of everything. I think he's going to be a Swiss Army knife type guy. I don't think he's one-dimensional at all. I think this is a guy who's going to come into this team and acclimate to the league well. We've seen a lot of guys who played in his league that have come over and figured it out, man. So I'm excited for him. I honestly think the new additions will be the difference for the Vikes this year. They obviously have some solidified players that played really well last season that you can expect are going to do great this season as well. But I think it's that new blood, that new energy that's really going to push the envelope. We'll see though. And then after that, obviously I like Blake Bentham. He's a hard worker. Noah Kelly as well. Can't forget to mention him. Great season as well. Very impactful player. It's good. I get it. It's good that they get to keep these guys. It would have really sucked if they lost Braun and the 2 other guys on his line, right? So luckily we get to keep them. And I think that's going to be 2 very impactful players, Horechka and Bentham. And I'll give a little bit of a shout out to Noah Kelly as well.
Right on. Got to love those picks. I remember last year, about halfway through the season, I was talking to one of the staff on the Vikes team, and that staff member brought up Blake Bentham, saying, Bentham is just as talented as Hilton and some of these premier scorers in the league. So the Vikes really believe in Bentham. So I like that pick there. Maybe a breakout about to happen for the Double B That's not a very good nickname, right?
Double B. Hey, well, I'll tell you one thing. Maybe with the increased role, more they're going to use him more right now that some of those other guys are out of the lineup. So he can definitely find his way into that category of higher minute played guy, and then we can see that skill unfold. Hopefully, that'd be an amazing story, right?
Yeah, Bentham, kind of a taller, bigger player. As he gets moving, he looks big out there, and he really shoots well. So maybe we'll see him back ripping it up for the Vikes. Now, left wing. Are you ready?
Oh, I'm ready.
Okay. Left wing, the graduating player is Keenan Eddy. Okay, that's the player who's leaving the Vikes. Another one of our favorites. Yep. And 2 players coming in, So as you can see by now, there's more players coming in that are leaving generally, which we talked about a lot about competition during the tryouts and all that. That's going to be going on. Left wing, Connor Nolan, 41 points in 20 games. Nolan finished 3rd in league scoring. Down the line here, Stratton Pickett, 6 goals last year, some timely goals. Finn Withy, in the corners, legend, for interview from one of our shows last year. And then the 2 new players, Booker Daniel from the Alberni Valley Bulldogs, also almost 70 games of WHL experience. So that's got to count for something, man. That's going to be a nice player to check out. And Thomas Jenkins coming from the Saanich Predators, the Mean Machine Jenkins. What do you see happening here on the left wing, Reese?
So what's his name again? Booker Daniel? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Booker Daniel.
I'm sorry if I got do I got that flipped around or whatever, or is that right?
Either way. Daniel
it's kind of like that.
Booker Daniel. I'm a fan.
Yeah.
I'm in 70 games of WHL hockey. You're adding another WHL talent to this Vikes roster to play with Gattenby. So this is a addition that Vikes fans got to be very excited for. And you know what? They have some deserved expectation for this guy. They have some rightful expectation for this guy to come in and play well, not come in and blow it up, but just come in and play well and help facilitate. And that's a guy I'm obviously excited. I got lots of expectations for anybody who's had a chance to play in that renowned league, the Western Hockey League. But other than that, I like that Jenkins kid. I think he'll be a good mover. I think he's just a guy who's going to slide into the lineup. To me, he gives me a lot of similarities to von Schoenberg. Just in the sense that reliable, they get the puck out, good first pass, great along the board. So yeah, we'll see. I hope he does slide in as easy as I am anticipating, and I really hope that Booker kid comes in flying.
That sounds great, Booker Daniel and Thomas Jenkins. Those are Reese's players to watch on the left wing. You gotta love it. That's a deep lineup there. Of course, Booker Daniel might be a centerman on this team. We don't know for sure.
We don't know,
but that's a good list of depth on the left wing. Now here we go to defense. 2 subtractions. Graduating players are Dustin DeGo and Alex Benger. They are actually hopping onto the Pine as coaches, right? These guys are going to be coaches. So they're still going to be around, but not going to be able to coaches are not allowed to touch the puck. So they won't be playing. So 2 players going out and 1, 2, 3, 4 coming in. Owen Evers. Okay, here we got, let's start from, this is a long one, right? It's all a defenseman. Here we go.
Yeah,
quick.
Which is, by the way, a great sign. The fact that they're looking for volume, lots of depth at the defensive position. Great. That's a great sign for me.
Yeah, I like that too. Dan Gattenby leads the way, point per game in the league, a top 3 defenseman in the league last year. Aiden Morrison, Thomas von Schoenberg, Scott Arbuckle, Russell Borrett, Kenyon Carta, and Lyndon DeGo. Those are the returning players likely to be vying for position on the team. Aiden Morrison, a lot of top minutes, and von Schoenberg, kind of a shutdown like you were mentioning.
Yep.
Here we go to the new guys. Owen Evers, the big cougar from Victoria. He's coming over. He gets a lot of points too, so he's got an offensive aspect. Marco Tokic, Saanich Predators. Kyle Crew from the Winkler Flyers, and Andrew Braun, another 6-pluser. Feet, tall. Yeah. They all are. Yes. 6'3", 6'1", 6'3", 6'2", if that counts in your scorebook. and,
Wow.
and Andrew Braun rounding out the new defenseman. So, Reese, over to you. Let me know about a couple of these defensemen that you're looking forward to for the Vikes this year.
Well, number one, most excited player I'm anticipating is going to come out flying. Owen Evers, great season in his previous seasons with sorry, what league is he in again?
Vi,
Yeah,
but he also gets called up, right?
that's what
He gets
yeah.
called up to
So
the
he's
Grizzlies.
everywhere he's been for the last 2 seasons, he's been a good player. He's put up some points. He gives me vibes of a puck mover that can come in with some youthful energy. And what I'm kind of hoping for is what happened with Braun and Spears. They came in, they were freshmen, and they just put themselves up on that lineup. And I'm hoping that's what we can see with the defense. Because obviously Gatenby, he's solidified. He's going to stay at that top pairing, but the question becomes who gets paired with him. Maybe someone who's a great puck mover but can still stay physical, or they can relieve some of the duties that Gatenby has in a night-to-night basis when it comes to, being physical, being a presence in front of his own net, and being that kind of guy. He can kind of focus and fixate more on those roles, so the other defenseman can kind of focus on the puck moving, the offensive aspect. So that's my hope. My hope is that, and that is no disrespect to the boys who fill in that top 4 position for last season, but I'm hoping that one of these youthful kids can come in with that Adam Fox type energy, new modern D, but not as offensive. Like, I just mean with a strong puck moving capability and good speed, good engine, good tank. And that will, man, it's kind of like Shea Weber. Once you paired him with someone who could facilitate some of the things he didn't want to do, the things he was great at were able to be emphasized. So yeah, that's the hope with this defense. So Owen Evers for sure, and Gatenby, that's the other guy. Obviously, you gotta care. You gotta be excited about him. Again, like I said, WHL defenseman, great season last season. I'd say it was his good. You could see his true colors this season compared to the one before that. So yeah, Gatenby and Evers. I think those. I don't know if that'll be a D pairing. I'm pretty sure Evers is a left-handed defenseman anyway. But again, you never know, right? So, yeah, those are my 2 guys out of the D depth for the Vikes.
Right on. The defenseman for the Vikes. They're going to be vying for position. It's going to be a deep position. Here we go. Now to goaltending. Last season, we mentioned this this was a big topic of discussion all year last year. Jacob Drapeau had 10 starts and he won 6 games. So he kind of had the mantle of he was the winningest goalie last year. Right. Blake Pilon won 3 games as well. At some point in the spring, Caleb McEachern was brought in.
That's right.
He was put into some key games, including a playoff game. And Charles Kirsten was also along. He appeared in a couple games. So those are the 4 goalies that played last year. Coming in there's 4 more coming in to try out. So out of these 8 players, someone's going to be in the net for the Vikes, right? First, Eric Clark from the Dryden Ice Dogs, SIJHL. Hunter Tarves from the Selkirk Steelers. That's the MJ Junior A team. Brady Kelly, the one of the twin brothers from the Peninsula Panthers. He's joining the team. And Sean Parkinson, very tall goalie. All of Eric Clark, Tarves, and Parkinson are all 6'4" on Elite Prospects. Parkinson is coming from Grant Ewan University in U Sports and the Melfort Mustangs before that. So, Reese, what do you see in the goaltending position here for the Vikes developing?
My prediction right off the bat is that Clark comes in and starts. Very early prediction. And when you have that many goalies, it's truly a toss-up because you don't know who's going to show up for training camp. It is the summer. A lot of guys are partying. A lot of guys are having a good time. A lot of guys are off the diet. A lot of guys are out of the gym. When it comes to goaltending, it's going to show early September or late August, whenever they start training camp. So it's going to be a toss-up, but just based on his stats, I think Clark is a guy who could come in and just take that starter position. We'll have to see, though. My hope is Kirsten really finds his game and then becomes a starter, because last year, he had a couple tough games, and we had the early interview with him, and I know his mentality is good. So hopefully Kirsten finds a way to get some starts. Just you got to play real good during training camp and then even better during preseason. So a lot of pressure on goalies, especially when there's 8. I mean, like I'll tell you this, in my very minuscule sports career, when you're trying to play a position and that position has a lot of depth, it's a horrible feeling. It's a bad feeling. It's even if you are so confident in yourself and you know your ability, it's uneasy. You would much rather there be less. You know what I mean? You'd much rather there be less depth, so there'd be less competition. So,
You mean for more guarantee your spot?
that's my point. Yeah, less.
Yeah.
It's just less, uneasiness. If you're confident in your ability and you know how good you are, then sometimes you don't care how many players are in that depth position. But if someone asked you, would you rather have a bunch of guys in that position or like 2 or 3? They'd probably pick 2 or 3. Just a little bit less. It's more narrow.
On the goaltending, Reese, one point you brought up recently was players coming from other leagues to the BCIHL and just getting used to it. 1 game a week, 1 or 2 games a week, balancing that with your studies, all of the ways that can impact your play. Jacob Drapeau was kind of the Mariners killer last year at times.
Yep.
What do you think these goalies will? How do you think they will adjust coming to the BCIHL from these leagues where they're playing 30 or 40 games? Like, do you think that'll affect goaltenders any differently than a skater?
No.
How will they when they're coming into the league? Is that am I going off the edge here?
No, I wouldn't say so. I just don't think it makes that much of an impact. Just to give you a simple answer, that's as much as I'll give you on that.
Yeah, just the BCIHL has so few games. It kind of feels like a football season sometimes.
Yeah.
And so each game carries so much weight, which puts a lot of pressure on the goaltending.
Big time.
If the Vikes can emerge with strong goaltending game after game, it could be a way to upgrade to compete with the Mariners, the Lakers, and the Red Leafs. Okay, Reese. Now we've gone through all those positions. You got anything before we move on to the next part?
No, honestly, I'll tell you this just to cap it all off. This is a great year for BCIHL hockey. So many teams are looking to add and are, contrary to their probably choice, unfortunately they have guys who are departing, right? So knowing that with all these changes, you're looking at a new league next year, new faces. We'll see. And what's also interesting to see is who stays in that position of dominance in the league, even though there's such a new wave of youthful energy in the entire league, right? So we'll have to see. Will it be the Dunlops of the league? Will it be, those type of guys, those type of characters?
You mean like who's going to be on top of the scoring leaderboard, stuff like that?
There, and then who's going to stay is really interesting to me. Maybe Spears. One of these guys had a good season last year. You might take a look. Look at that; they're there again. So we'll see. Yeah,
last season SFU 19-1, second place VIU 13-6, UVic 11-8, the Lakers 7-9, and then the Miners looking for their first win still. I wonder if that will shake up at all. There's not a lot of teams in the league, but there's the way that the rivalries blossoming between each team is something to really look forward to. The Vikes versus the Lakers, the Vikes versus the Mariners, so lots of moving and shaking in the league, like you said.
Moving and shaking.
All right, there we go. That's the depth chart for the Vikes as far as we can tell. Like you mentioned, maybe things will change leading into training camp. But Reese, I'm curious, what are 3 players from the Vikes that you're most looking forward to seeing, or who are most impactful for the Vikes you view going into next season?
Oh, and I'm going to go back to some of my picks that I made when we went through the depth chart. Number 1, Logan Spears. I'm one of his biggest fans. He knows that. This is a guy. This is a guy who I think will come into the season and play very well. I think he's really gonna take that new position of, in my opinion, that 1C. Well, again, we don't know. It's early in the off season, so we don't really know what they're gonna do in terms of lineup. But I feel like Spears gets that number one center position and he rises to the occasion. I think he's going to use the chemistry and the success that was, created with Braun. And in his departure, he's gonna hold on to that chemistry and he's gonna apply it to his own game. He's gonna find a way to meld with the guys around him. I'm excited, man. I think he's gonna be a power play killer. I think he's gonna be a great face-off guy. I'm excited. And a good thing about being a good face-off guy is you can put that puck into the stick of my next guy, which is gonna be, and it's an easy guess, Dan Gattenby. It's a guy who is the captain. We are relying on him. Vikes are relying on him. All the fans. They want him to come and just take his stats this year and double them. Okay, relax. But we hope he's going to come flying, and I think he will. I think he'll be a great player in this league. Once again, he'll establish himself as, like you said earlier, a top 3 defenseman in the BCIHL. So that's my number 2. And the number 3, I'm actually going to put it on the goaltending position. I'm not going to name a name. I just am so excited to see what they're going to do. Even this year, they had five goalies. Sorry.
Yeah.
They had 5 goalies at the end of the season, right? So it was always kind of a little bit of a toss up. You had your 2 or your 3 that you knew were going to play, the Pilon, Draposta. But this year, man, with 8 goalies, and guess what? It's August 1st. So there can still be goalies signed. There could be goalies invited. We'll have to see, right? So yeah, that's why I gotta highlight the goaltending position. But the fans are wondering, what about you, Matt? Give me your top 3 guys. Break it down.
Well, before I name my 3, I'll just say my first player was also Logan Spears on the list that I made. For the reasons you said, but also this is the first season that Spears will be without Braun playing hockey. I think that those two go back to, junior high or whatever as best buddies or earlier. So that will be interesting to watch him play with Connor Nolan, most likely, or who knows, Booker Daniel or any of these other forwards we've mentioned. So just noting, we both had Spears as the number 1 Vikes player to watch, which is kind of interesting. I'll start my list in net with Eric Clark. The Vikes have had good goaltending, trying to steady them last season, but they're looking for someone to really take the net and run with it and just be solid, right? Because there's some great shooters in this league. In that small rink in Victoria, you got to really watch out from shots coming from everywhere. I don't know who will emerge as that player. I'll just pick Eric Clark. Playoff experience, high save percentage and low goal, not letting in a lot of goals with the Dryden Ice Dogs. Let's see if he can solidify the Vikes in net. Secondly, I'm going to say with the exit of Brandon Voss, Matthew Hermary, and Keenan Eddy, I'm going to say Stratton Pickett is the Vike that is most needed because he carries with them the identity of the program. He scored a couple really big goals this year. He seems to be pesky around the net. He carries that identity with the Vikes. Not going to be up there in the leaderboard for scoring, but he's taken on that mantle as a team leader. So I'll say Stratton Pickett with the number 2. And then, I have Kyle Crew, Thomas Jenkins, Booker Daniel, but I'll go back to Connor Nolan. He was in on so many goals for the Vikes this year. And he is a skilled forward, but he also works really hard at forechecking. He cycles the puck really well around for a player. He plays big. He gets to the puck. And let's see if Connor Nolan can win the scoring title in the whole league. Yeah, let's watch for that. And so those are my 3. I'll go with Eric Clark, Stratton Pickett, and Connor Nolan to watch.
I can't hate any of those picks. Definitely real quick, honorable mention to Stratton Pickett too. That's a guy, like I said about Spears, with that raised responsibility with some of those other veteran guys getting out of here. We're going to see some great things unfold. But there's a couple clutch scenarios with Pickett that me and you witnessed, calling the games down in Victoria. So this is a player that could definitely make an impact, like you said.
Yeah, and I think what teams, like, what do I know? But you would, in a perfect world, your team is well-rounded with different skills. Your third and fourth line might be different than your first and second line. Your penalty killer might be different than the power play. So Stratton, Pickett, this is your Swiss Army knife player in that way, and kind of along with Gatton, be kind of a mental leader as well. We'll be looking for him for that. And put in Thomas Jenkins into that role as well, too, as someone who just slices and dices, in a different kind of way. So
absolutely.
There we go. The Vikes.
Yeah. Anything else? Chart. We're definitely winding down the time here. What anything else on the Vikes that we should go in depth with?
Well, the year before last they were under 500. This year they're 3 games over. 2023 3 games over. They'll be looking to climb the standings once again.
Yep.
I think the drama is building for these matchups.
Oh, yeah. The drama's got to be building. I mean, you look at the improvements the Mariners made, which I'm sure the Vikes staff has been paying close attention to and picking according to. Quick little conspiracy theory from me is that I feel like this team, the Vikes, Alec Dillon and company, they're watching the social medias close, and they're going to pick according to that. They go, okay, you guys want to add this type of player, then we're going to add this type of player. And maybe not. Maybe they're like, I don't even care. We got our own identity. We want to play our own game, which would be a better mentality to have for sure. But not to ignore them for sure. They're not going to be not paying attention. They're not going to, willingly not care what other teams are picking. They're going to pay attention because most of these teams in the Bcihl, even the minors, have made additions. So it's time to step up.
One thing I forgot to that just came to mind last year, the home and home series with the Oregon Ducks. That started, they went down and played 2 games against Oregon in October, I think, and then Oregon came back up in the spring. I bet you UVic has something up their sleeve once again for this year. They'll be going somewhere. They'll have some kind of team building trip. They'll have something interesting in store for the players in the program. So let's keep our eyes peeled for that. For exhibition games, who are the Vikes going to go and play? And that might be in a different league. So that'll be exciting.
Oh, yeah.
Hop on the bus. Get the tour bus going.
Oh, dude. Honk, honk, man. It's getting serious.
Yeah. Hockey players like country music and hip hop, right?
Oh, yeah. I'd say country music, hip hop. A couple of them will like EDM. A lot of them will like Taylor Swift.
Really?
Pop music. Oh yeah, they like those guys like to sing with the boys. They just scream, sing. A couple sody pops in your system, and you're just going. So
a lot of country music. Okay, so you're thinking like the Vikes might be kind of emerging as a karaoke kind of a program. Lots of singing.
I would say, and also from strolling past the locker room here and there, I tend to hear a lot of EDM, a lot of electronic dance music. That makes sense because it tends to be before a game. So you want that hype, you want to get everybody going. But I didn't hear much hip hop. I heard a lot of EDM.
Just got the sock tape out, just furiously taping up your arm pads.
Right.
I've always loved the hockey players. I like that they go out and they give their best effort and try their, they go for it. I'm a fan of these guys. So EDM, country, whatever it takes, crank it up, get in the corners. Know what I'm saying?
I mean, I don't know what else can be said after that. That's the line right there. That is the concluding statement of the year. But so as we said, sorry to cut you off, as we mentioned earlier, we will be taking an August hiatus. We're going to try some new content things, take a little bit of a break from the updates. But once that late August comes around and that September, expect us because we're going to be putting lots of updates out for this wonderful league.
Sounds good, buddy. Hey, Top Cat, you got a big kitten house over there, so
I do.
Say hey to all the cats and kittens around there.
Oh, I will.
Take care of yourself this summer. Get the church soccer league just humming.
Oh, it's humming, and people are fighting, and people are getting fined, and people are swearing, and it's fun. Yeah,
just F-bombs this way and that way, and
yep. And if you get a red card, you got to pay a fine.
Is that right? What's the fine?
Oh, it's it depends. Actually, they have like a hearing.
Are you serious?
They'll discuss with like the owner of the league and the refs and stuff and make a decision. So if it's like an egregious offense, it'll be pricey, man. It could be upwards of $200 sometimes. And
Okay.
yeah, I want for one game that we ended up getting called. We were beating a team, and the fight started, and they punched one of our guys, and we got mad. And
my Lord.
It was like $700 in fines.
Okay, well, this is some league you're playing in here, Reese. This is a serious deal. I was
Just
thinking
men's league.
like, I was thinking the fine for cursing or whatever at the ref would be like $20 McDonald's gift card or something like that. I wasn't thinking like a legislative assembly.
I was supposed to be in a ball hockey league too, but that team also got thrown out before I could even start. Our team got too many fights, and they threw our team out of the league. So
that reminds me, I'm going to be trying out for a ball hockey team, Lord willing, this fall.
Yes,
One of the players on the teams is like the child of a NHL coach, I hear. So it might be rigorous. Maybe hopefully Ken Hitchcock's son is on the team. That would be my dream, or daughter. And just the child of Ken Hitchcock. I will go through the wall for
first pass. Yeah. Work your bottom off, block shots, get into the mix, get physical, and then get off. That's how you're successful in ball hockey.
Exactly.
Good
Dallas
first
Stars,
pass.
Dallas Stars, 1999. Ed Belfour, Brendan Morrow.
Oh yeah,
Brett Hall in your face. Yeah. Don't forget it.
Absolutely. Well, Matt, it's been great. We're gonna leave these guys for August, and everybody stay tuned for new content coming on this channel and also coming on our social media. So pay attention, guys. And Matt, I wish you farewell. I'll definitely be keeping in touch, and keep me updated on what you hear in Victoriaville, as I am in Catville here in Niagara Falls. So
I will, buddy. Thanks everybody for watching and giving us the opportunity to share this show. We'll see you for the new season, Reese.
Keep it real, everybody. See you later.
Your bitch. Dreams of living life like rappers do. Back when condom rappers wasn't cool.